Hello Libras, welcome to the Oracle of the Feather Crown Tree. We are going to do your July reading for when the Sun is in Leo and in through August while the Sun stays there. This is the Radiant Astrology reading. I'll explain all the positions as we go through, and I will start with readings from the author's decks, and then I will finish with an intuitive spread. So there's a time stamp below if you want to skip ahead to that juicy intuitive part of the reading. Your center card is here to represent really leading with your heart, how to live a heart-centered life. And your card in that position states, stop focusing on this situation for a while. Just bring your awareness within, close your eyes, relax, and let go. Take a walk in the park or do whatever it takes to detach. A solution will soon become obvious, and all will work out fine. So that last card was really addressing the question of how can I silence my ego so my soul can shine. So we're going to move over now to the card on the left in the center, which is going to represent the first house and Aries, and then we'll move counterclockwise around the wheel, looking at each of these house positions and their respective questions. So for this first house, how can I begin things with self-awareness for protection of my physical body, as well as be conscious of my mask and projections of myself onto others? And you got your card just like Leo got this month too. It's pretty wild. You got Libra. And let's have a look at what the book is saying. The discovery of energy, the discerning energy of air, takes on the cardinal solve-it quality and encourages identifying and solving problems. The key phrase, I balance, means that fairness, justice, and everyone getting along are the primary motivational drives. In this situation, ask, how can I manifest fair and stable balance? Ideals are beautiful things and very good guides. Ideals are great guiding stars, and the desire for fairness commendable. However, in the real world, ideals rarely exist in pristine form, and justice elusive. At some point, decisions need to be made. Avoid indecisiveness. And then moving to the second house, also related to Taurus, how do my values generate resourcefulness, self-esteem, and wealth? And from the Celtic Shaman Oracle, we have the Circle of Nine, second circle. A circle of 9 stones radiates energy outward into the world. Above them rises the brilliant sun of inspiration. In the foreground, an opening capped with stones leads to the third circle. 3 ancient stone objects guard the way. The second circle, or middle world, represents the spiritual dimension of the world in which we live our outer lives. The mundane world that lies all around us is familiar to us in immediate ways, yet it also has its non-ordinary or otherworldly aspect inhabited by spiritual beings that may manifest as fairies, animals, or ancestral teachers. Centered upon the trunk of the tree of vision, it extends outward horizontally to the world's end and beyond. It is visited especially to help solve problems that beset us in our daily lives. The third house, also Gemini, how does my mindset influence my interactions and define my comfort zone? From the Tantric Dakini Oracle, we have Mother's Milk. On an astronomical map of the Milky Way, 2 small breasts appear to be floating in space. At the top right-hand corner is depicted a voluptuous breast, suggesting the maternal principle whose breast milk has here become the Milky Way. This card evokes the desire to reach back to the original mother, the great nourisher of this universe. The two smaller breasts represent the original unity manifestation as Prakriti, the nature principle, which materializes as all worlds and all phenomenon. This is the mystery of great nature. The fourth house, Cancer. Our card is coming from the Prophet deck. And you have the light that lingers becomes a shadow to another light. You shall be free indeed, when your days are not without a care, nor your nights without a want and a grief. But rather when these things girdle your life, and yet you rise above them, naked and unbound. And how shall you rise beyond your days and nights, unless you break the chains which you at the dawn of your understanding have fastened around your noon hour? In truth, that which you call freedom is the strongest of these chains, though its links glitter in the sun and dazzle your eyes. And what is it but fragments of your own self you would discard, that you may become free? And the fifth house is going to be from the Egyptian deck, and it's also representing Leo. How can I enact play, self-expression, desires of my inner child, creativity, joy, risk-taking, and pleasure in my daily life? All the good stuff. So you have this month Khonsu, lunar energies, divine timing, blood mysteries. If you have chosen this card, the time is now to move forward in some situation that you have been hesitant about. It is also a favorable time for travel. Whatever movement is being called for, you may want to harness the power of ritual. Create a communion ceremony in honor of the divine being that you are. Acknowledge the journey that you have completed that has prepared you for the new phase you're entering. You can do this spiritually or bring it to the physical plane by setting up an altar with food that represents the body of earth and drink that represents the blood of the divine Netaru. If you are in need of healing, honor the source of your disease, injury, or situation for the teaching it has brought you as you take in the holy sacraments. And I also have a card coming here now from the Enchanted Spell Oracle. This is going to be in the sixth house, the house of Virgo. And you have rebirth, transformation, victory, completion. The question for this position is, how can I give to myself and others for significant improvement? When the rebirth card appears, some kind of transformation is about to take place. You are about to enter a brand new phase in life. Rebirth promises victory over a challenge, and with it you become wiser, stronger, and more compassionate. This card has similarities to the Death card in the Tarot, for it is a card of endings and beginnings and of letting go. Next is Libra. And from the Goddess Power deck, you have Bridget. Our question for this position of the seventh house is, how can I practice equality and sharing to forge alliances and resolve interpersonal conflicts? Inspiration and imagination are yours to play with right now. You effortlessly connect to your inner creative spark and make meaningful and beautiful experiences for yourself and others. Take advantage of this fruitful time. When you are so in tune, it's like taking a magical trip to the land of the fairy, where all that glitters really is gold, and your life seems like a grand artistic gesture. The fiery Celtic goddess of creativity calls you to play in the artistry of your life. your work, and your loves. Bridget is whispering her sparkling music deep in your soul. And Scorpio, which is the 8th house. The card is coming from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. How do the renewal cycles of my life give opportunity for mystery, intimacy, transformation, and shadow work? And you have thunder. Legends speak of great thunder beings who live in the sky and call for your attention when great occurrences are meant to happen in the world. They warn when tensions in a situation are called upon to be released. Their presence in your reading reminds you of the dynamic moments in life that change everything, both awesome and frightening, when thunder arrives. It is also a wake-up call, one that you will not soon forget. When thunder comes into your reading, it refers to a big, dramatic change that feels like a herd of wild bison on the run. You feel it right through your bones, and you know that you are powerless to influence whatever events have been set in motion. This is a time to be prepared for anything. Your life is an adventure, and wonderful opportunities are arriving now. The trick is to learn to run with them. Qualities that you need now more than ever are flexibility, dexterity, and a willingness to experience it all without dictating from where or in what form opportunities will come. Your destiny is arriving. Be ready. And the next position is Sagittarius, the 9th house. From a yogic path, we have Radha. And our question is, how does my belief system generate meaning and encourage expansion beyond my comfort zone? This is the goddess of passionate love and longing. Are you in love? You very well may be soon. Radha is the goddess of euphoric bliss and deep surrender when you gaze into the eyes of your lover. She is the passionate lover of Krishna, who gave up everything to be in his arms. She represents the desire to merge with your beloved and lose yourself in the utter ecstasy that is love. If you aren't already in love, it is well on its way and already occurring all around you. Allow yourself to lose yourself in the divine dance of romance, for love is just you experiencing your own soul in another body. The 10th house, house of Capricorn. How can I achieve my realistic yet challenging goals step by step? We have communion from the Heart Path Oracle deck. One of the most important lessons that the swan can teach you is that things are not always as they appear to be. You already know this because you are a natural and caring empath. You may be one of the most sensitive people in this dimension. You don't have to work hard to sense what others are truly feeling. This gift can be overwhelming at times, but you can manage it by just visualizing a protective, energetic force field surrounding you. Feel its energy and know it is shielding you from anything negative. It is important to make sure that you always clean your aura. You're part of a special group who are helping each other navigate through uncertain times. You desperately want to change and improve yourself, and you feel you need to help others as well. Just know that everyone has his or her own personal mission. The most loving thing you can do is allow them to find their own way. The 5 swans suggest that you entered this plane with a highly progressive mindset, with the desire and skills to make the world a better place. The energy from the number 5 makes you resourceful, adventurous, and advanced in your thinking. You are always striving to find answers and solutions to the many questions that life poses. See yourself and the planet transforming into something very beautiful. Follow your intuition and let it guide you to the colorful home you once knew. Our next card is from the Sacred Geometry deck. It's for the 11th house, for Aquarius. How can my unique hopes and wishes be supported by others and heal the collective? You have love and power, intentional balance. This is the last card in this oracle deck and represents the culmination of the new and ancient wisdom of sacred geometry. It reminds us that the geometry of shape and form is part and parcel of our very existence. Sacred geometry has influenced cultures around the world throughout time, and its wisdom is being remembered in these times to aid in our efforts toward conscious evolution. The complex geometry of this card acts as a catalyst and a prayer that we as human beings, men and women, acting in accordance with divine wisdom and with intention toward our highest good, can learn to live in love and balance. This is a mighty prayer, for we have long used power as a means of control and domination. We will learn this new and tremendously creative and dynamic method of communication and interaction. Only if we believe that humanity is worth saving, we must individually and collectively be willing to take part in this shift. We must be willing to accept responsibility for our actions and our thoughts and use our power wisely as power to, not power over. In doing so, we will usher in an age of peace and enlightenment when humans no longer act from greed and anger, but find the most powerful acts to be acts of love that come directly from their hearts. And the 12th house, the house of Pisces, we have the Pearl of Sorrow from the White Light Oracle. How can I end the bondage of self-sabotage, including karma and repressions, to become the bliss of self-transcendence instead? Sharo is a Tibetan word meaning to arise or manifest and shine with radiant spiritual light. Sharo is the outcome of sacred alchemy. It is the manifestation of the pearl beyond price, created in the depths of the ocean, hidden away in a clamshell, away from prying eyes. This pearl symbolizes a beautiful blessing of unexpected grace. It began when an irritant caused the formation of a luminescent coating. The healing response to that initial intrusion resulted in an organic creation of inestimable beauty, value, and uniqueness. So this pearl can be a sacred catalyst. This oracle has emerged in your reading because you have the capacity to become a light bearer. Safeguard your energy, yet trust that the light within is strong enough to see you through any struggle and eventually transform it into a precious pearl of sacred empowerment. You have the wisdom in your divinely alchemical heart. You shall arise with dignity. All right, Libras, let's look here intuitively at what we've got going on this month for you while you are in Leo Sun energy. In your heart center, I'm seeing a little bit of chaos. It does feel almost like a romantic flurry, and a kind of a little bit of a mixture of like the good with the bad. Like there's a bit of eeriness with it, maybe a little bit of trauma, but there's a stirring of lots of flutterings of love and excitement. And there also may be a lot of male-female energy coming together. There may be a heightened period of feeling like you're in union, or actually experiencing a lot of actual physical sexual union, which helps, especially if and the more dominant male energy in this, to flourish a little bit more, to grow, to be in the world and to be strong. And there's a sense that the feminine energy is sort of just relaxed into the strength of the male energy. And that can be within you, your own energies, or that could be in a partnership. So I'm going to move around from the first house to the 12th house here, intuitively having a look. There is a sense that you might be feeling a little bit, I want to say extreme, but flamboyant even. There might be a little bit of drama, a little bit of theatrics in how you're coming across this month, definitely in relation to power and a sense of self-empowerment. You may be standing your ground, being very stubborn, not being very open to anything but sort of how you want to be in the world. And it's a very dynamic, strong presence that you are having. Anything that seems almost unhealthy, dare I say demonic, or just kind of even disgusting, you may be keeping at a distance from you in self-protection, and realizing that like your life needs to maintain a sense of balance, and that you're not going to just allow anything to enter. Even if it's kind of confusing, even if it seems like this energy is somewhat enlightened or balanced, you need to see it for what it is. There may be, like, you may have built up quite a bit in of things in value that are very stable, that provide a legacy for you. And you may be centered on things that really nourish you, what's really sort of important of value in the home, like the hearth. There's a sense of there being like a sort of illumined, like a lot of energy coming from maybe a generational wealth that you have built up, and you've just sort of intuitively known how to envelope it in your life, how to have it present. But yet there could be a sense of like feeling disconnected from this. So maybe you're not present with this, maybe you're not seeing this, maybe you're not valuing this in your life. And if you are connected to it, it's not bringing you a sense of joy. It's not what's allowing you to feel alive in the moment and playful. In fact, it feels just sort of like you're perhaps even just, if you were to be tethered to this energy, like it just feels sort of wore out and stale, a little bit empty. It just doesn't have a lot of energy with it. Now, your thoughts may be concerned with something more cosmic this month, a higher consciousness, having a higher perspective, and also something that feels very feminine and nourishing for sure, like the nourishing part of the female aspect. Maybe quite a big part of this, and maybe even a feeling of there needing to be sort of multiple female nourishment sources in your life, or that you are participating as a nourisher to other females. But there's definitely this the strong connection between what the female energy provides in its physicalness and what kind of this cosmic energy provides as far as insight goes into your life. Feels like in your home, if you've been a little bit disconnected, or even with in relationships, you may still be feeling kind of disconnected with that, and you may have been sort of out in a very Aries space and not really attuned to the day-to-day realities of your home environment. You seem a little bit more concerned still even with touching with the earth itself and identifying with the earth as a place of home beyond any physical structure you may be in. And you may be encouraging others around you to do the same, to, you know, come back to earth, basically, reconnect and get that sense of belonging from identifying as, you know, a citizen of Mother Earth. I see you in your kind of day-to-day reality, feeling like maybe you are in a bubble and you're making the effort to reach out. There's something that you may have to be dealing with. It seems like you've got to turn around and deal with something behind you. You may be coming from a place that feels very bountiful, that feels like you have a lot to offer. You have a lot of intelligence, you have a lot of authority, and you may be kind of calling out, even though you are at a distance from those that you're interacting with. You're kind of like isolated, yet you have all of these qualities of, I want to say, like a leadership here. And there may be a little bit of emotions going on. Like you may be in a space of interpreting something intellectually, but beneath you, and you may not be aware of it, there may be a lot of like emotional commotion going on that is actually quite forceful in your reality. There's a sense of something magical and energy, like really a little bit higher than you, that's willing to accompany you and be part of what you do. And it looks like what you do brings you a lot of stability and is really bringing you that stability because it's connected to a higher purpose for you. It's brought you a lot of health and vitality and even beauty perhaps in your life, or an ability to seem beautiful because of because you've been so well taken care of. I would say if you want to go deeper this month into something and do some shadow work, that I'm not really seeing a lot of that there for you. Again, I'm getting kind of a message to connect with the earth, identify as a child of the earth, step into your light, let your whole presence be filled with that nourishing energy that comes from everything that's been nourished by the sun on the earth. And that will be a very stabilizing source of empowerment for you. Actually, when I was reading that, this is not so much about your subconscious, it's more about how you're presenting yourself and how you are relating to others. So being in that energy of the nourisher, the one that wants to grow, the one that wants to be happy, the one that wants to give fully like the Mother Earth. This is the energy that you want to embody in your relationships. Now looking at the subconscious, I'm seeing this sense of that there is a little bit of intensity below, that there is this force to be reckoned in that may be kind of just coming through, and as powerful as it is, it may be kind of hard to see. It may require really sitting with yourself and going within to understand and bringing together different aspects of yourself into alignment so that you can tap into what's going on beneath the surface and yet still remain in a state that's where you can access your higher mind and your soul and be a multi-dimensional being here. But whatever is coming through in this realm feels like it's going to move fast and it's not going to stick around. So this could definitely be something that feels like it's going to stir things up pretty heavily. If there's things in the way that need to go, it may move that out. It may destroy things pretty quickly, but it's going to go as quickly as it came in. You may want to look to things that inspire you, that help you tap into a sense of beauty from areas outside of what you already understand as beautiful, that help you see that beauty is a force that can help you build and grow and be creative. And can also lead you to places that you would not otherwise be focused on, that can help you. Beauty can lead you into mysteries of other worlds, other cultures, other people's way of doing things. And this might be very nourishing for your mind this month, to allow yourself that pleasure to explore what you find beautiful. Now, in this place of achievement, of really showing up in the outer world, doing your best, your reputation even, it's complicated. You have a sense of like a lot of maybe same people in your environment trying to achieve the same thing. You may feel kind of isolated from them and even shadowed by them. Like maybe someone's going to try to overpower you, or several people might be trying to overpower you. But there's really a sense that everyone except for one of these people involved in this situation are really in their own world about it. There's only one person that's open and receptive and ready to be in communion instead of being with others as everyone is standing alone in the group. It's good that you're all together, and there are some areas of overlap. There are, places where you kind of meet in the middle, but there's also a lot of differences here too in what you're defining as your boundaries. And the goal that you're headed towards feels it feels like something that you're headed towards because it's almost like shiny and it seems right, but you don't realize that you may be just flying right into something dangerous, but it just looks so good. And it may be even so shiny that it's sort of like blinding your sight, your line of sight, and you can't really see it for what it is, or you can only see a portion of it at a time, perhaps even. And it may be kind of shape-shifting. It may not be always, it may feel like it keeps changing emotionally, like the tone of what you're headed towards is just shifting and shifting. But for right now, it seems to be exuding a lot of energy about being a force of something stable and creative and powerful for you, and not so much about something that brings you a lot of spiritual insight and intellectual growth. So it's definitely more of like the primal survival energies that you're headed towards. I see that in coming together, this could be with yourself, with others, with one person. But there is this idea of partnership, and in looking, having the same focus, being attuned, being like almost mirrors to one another. There is a profound and electrifying amount of energy that can be built up between this exchange that is beyond stunning. It's absolutely magnificent. And you know, when we look at that former card of like kind of flying alone, it seems like this idea of partnership, as long as you're in partnership with something here. And I'm getting stronger, like a love thing, like there's a need to be in cahoots with a lover perhaps, and that is going to be the greatest source of just overall, it just makes your whole reality, it transforms it basically. It just makes it beyond beautiful. I do see that there's something that you value very much, that you protect, and that you're even kind of protected from something that may want to overpower you, overly illuminate you. There's a sense that going within, spending time looking inwards, and kind of remaining in a state of self-preservation is a space that may help you feel relaxed this month, and that maybe you kind of need to shut off from anything that is overbearing, that needs to bring too much stimulation into your life, as this may be a time for more rest than engaging in outwardly energetic giving of energy. Okay, Libras, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for joining me, and do take care. Please see any of my other playlists if you want some different types of readings that I do throughout the weeks.